What's up, everyone, and welcome back to King's Advisors. Now, as you can tell from behind me, pretty big Game of Thrones fan. And right now, Game of Thrones Season 8 is the most successful product that HBO has ever put out. Now, whether or not fans accepted it is a different story, because we all know they did. But overall, most viewed product, I believe that the numbers were like 35 million people watched the final episode within like a 4-day window. That is absurd. Numbers we haven't seen since there were 3 channels on TV. So, what could possibly break that record? What could possibly dethrone season 8 Game of Thrones as the most watched product on HBO and possibly in the history of television? Well, as you can see from the background of the video, there is but one answer. And it is, assuming things go right, episode 1 of season 1 of the new Harry Potter TV show. So let's talk about this. Okay, so there was a little bit of news about a month ago. HBO shared a casting call sheet for the 3 kids, the 3, Harry Potter, Hermione, and Ron. And this was it: UK open casting call. Open casting call for children to play the roles of Harry Potter, Hermione Granger, and Ron Weasley in the upcoming HBO original series adaptation of Harry Potter. If you would like to be considered, yada, 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 yada. And here are who they are looking at. They are looking for children who are aged 9 to 11 in April of 2025 and a resident of the UK or Ireland. So they want the kids to be between 9 and 11 when they start filming. So they're going to start filming next April. Resident of the UK or Ireland. So they want the children to be English, much like HBO does not cast Americans for Game of Thrones, with the exception of Peter Dinklage, because the role was actually written for him. It looks like they are going to try to make sure that the kids that they cast are English or Irish. We all know the Irish are not English. Don't worry, guys. Now, what does this mean? Well, if we go further down into the casting call, we can see this little hidden line down here. We are committed to inclusive, diverse casting for every role. Please submit qualified performers without regards to ethnicity, disability, race, sexual orientation, gender identity, or any other basis protected by law unless otherwise specifically indicated. So clearly, nationality is protected. What do you call it? Basis, as they call it on here. But because they want a resident of the UK or Ireland, they're not listing that. So does that mean that we are going to have a Black Hermione Granger? A lot of people are, let's say, concerned about that because of the casting call that was made for what was it, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, that really bad play, where it was a Black woman that played Hermione Granger. And of course, with J.K. Rowling being a pretty big liberal in everything, with the exception of transgenderism, I wouldn't be shocked if she decided to cast a Black girl, especially because of her constant reminding everyone that there is no race associated with Hermione Granger in the books. That she's simply described as having what is it? Really brown hair or something like that. I don't really remember what the description is, but this is kind of concerning. But there is a little bit of good news. I've long said that if you look at the casting decisions that HBO has made in some of their other very big things that are going to bring them money, like Night of the Seven Kingdoms, we can see that when it comes to big roles that are going to be big in the show they're doing, they tend to lean a little bit away from trying to be political. So we saw that when the casting call, I made a video about this a while back. The casting call for Dunk and Egg went out, and the description for Dunk was basically just very tall and of any race. But they did end up hiring a guy that ended up being white. So will that mean that they are going to sidestep the politicalness and hire the cast as they should be, as we grew up with them being, and as no matter how J.K. wrote in the book, we all now see these three characters? Well, there may be a little glimmer of hope for that. According to Redania Intelligence, a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms casting director, Lucy Beavan, is also in charge of the casting for the upcoming Harry Potter series. Well, why is that important? Like I just said, clearly this lady understands that fan perception is a big part of getting people to watch her show. So if she's willing to sidestep the politicalness and the checkbox of having a actor or actress of a minority so they can go win the Emmy, since the Emmys require the checkboxes now, maybe she'll sidestep it in this. So we don't know for sure. Obviously, this is going to be something we're going to pay attention to and watch coming down the line. But this is good news. This is something that should be reported about. This is something that could keep the series from losing itself early on and losing its fan base. Because as we can see from shows like Rings of Power and in a couple of instances in House of the Dragon, when you cast characters outside of what they are expected to look like or what their writer has written them as, you lose the fan base. And then it gets even worse when you're trying to get that fan base back and those actors and actresses decide to start belittling the fan base. So, guys, what do you think? Do you think there's a shot? Should we just completely give up any hope? Let me know what you think. Don't forget, follow me to like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter, Geeks Advisors _